Hello, everybody. Welcome to the world of pets. We want our pets to live a long life, but we want that to be a quality life. So we feel that we found something that can facilitate that. And we do talk about it a little bit on this show, but mostly we want to discover all things about pets and laugh and cry. And speaking about crying, I'm sorry to announce that David, my co host, lost his beloved, now I'm going to cry, his beloved Peyton Pooh this last week. So please have him in your thoughts because I know he's extremely sad about that. Right, this morning, moving on to something that is so important, we have Kurt Weeks as our guest today, longtime friend of the show. And this is so important to discuss before Christmas when people will be buying Christmas gifts for their pets. There are some things out there, and you'll hear a really scary story about one momentarily. And then we're going to discuss some alternatives and some healthy things for your pets as well. So, Kurt, take it away.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Debbie. It is an honor to be here with you today. And I'm sorry to hear about Peyton Pooh. Um, we have our pets in our lives for a portion of our lives, but our pets' lives, we're their friends for their whole lives. And so we want to take care of them as best that we can. And between you and I, we try to do that every time that we make a connection with somebody, learn something a little bit more, and find out a little bit more. So I'm so blessed and so honored to be on here with you, to be able to share the new things that we're finding, to be able to take care of our furry loved ones. And so I'll share a story with you. This is summertime, the end of summer. They always open up the pool here in Henderson to be able to allow the dogs in for a day. And it is a crazy dog kind of fun. And so these different companies will come in and sponsor these events this event that ends up happening at the pool. And you'll see hundreds of dogs that are going into the pool, and these companies are around, they're sponsoring and they're showing their wares. Well, I'm sitting there I'm talking to some of these different folks, and this company that makes dog toys, very similar to everything that you see. In fact, I don't know it any different than any of the stuffed toys that we have that are out there. And they talked about their toy is most beautiful and is dog friendly and those things, and partially indestructible. Now I have huskies and they do a really, really good job at destroying toys. And this toy just happened, an dog had happened to start to tear at this toy. And so he broke this thing open and he said, look how we double stitch it, blah, 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 blah. And I pull out the foam ball that's on the inside, and it had a hole that was drilled through the middle of the foam ball. And I said, well, why would you drill a hole? Why would you have a hole in the middle of this foam ball? He goes, oh, that's for liability, because their dogs are going to ingest this. And when they do ingest this, it allows the air pipe, and it also allows food to get through the foam ball as it's in their stomach so that they don't die.
So really, you're giving them something dangerous, but you're trying to include something that hopefully will save their life in it. Wow. Yeah, that's
Right.
just, it's ridiculous to think about the fact that people who you would think would be pet lovers are willing to produce something like that and put it on the market.
But with good conscience, right? We do what we think is going to be the best for our animals, and we do these things with a whole heart. and also covering ourselves liability wise, right? We want to make sure that we're opening the door and sharing with folks, but we also want to make sure that we cover ourselves liability wise. And that's what they were doing with this whole hole in the middle of the foam thing, because the dog is going to get into this foam and they're going to eat it. And then what ends up happening, down. I have another story for you. I have a vet friend who took care of Zenta. She was my 19-and-a-half-year-old husky, and Zenta would tear stuff all up. And we heard first from her to not let Zenta tear toys up, because she does at least one emergency surgery a day. She's open 7 days a week. One emergency surgery a day, because they've eaten these toys that do not digest in the stomach, and the foam stays there forever. The nylon outside of the stuffed animal stays there forever. These nylabones,
Right.
these indestructible toys that we give the animals. We put treats in them, right? We're encouraging them to eat these treats and these things, and they swallow the whole thing, and down they go for an emergency surgery. And she said, it's $5,000 to $7,000 sometimes for
Right.
these surgeries, and they'll pull 2, 3, 5, 6 toys out of a dog's stomach. And
But
you're
what
like,
about the other? What about the other dogs, Kurt? The ones that
it stays in
swallow
there
it.
for
I mean,
it stays
because
in there forever. It doesn't go away. It
right.
doesn't
That's what I
digest
was going to say. That we've seen X-rays that showed these toys just sitting there in the pet's stomach, and that can't be healthy either.
No.
I mean, I guess the upside is that it's not a $5,000 to $7,000 surgery, but it's still not healthy. And then the other thing is the color. The fact that these companies will put a bright color, and like, oh, a pet parent goes into the store and is looking at everything and thinking, oh, this is so bright and nice. My pet's going to really like this. When actually the coloring is going to be detrimental to the pet, and the pet can't see the color anyway.
Absolutely. I have my little pink binder that I take notes with here. And my little pink binder is I can see the pink. My dog sees gray. And so they see different kinds of gray, lets them know different things about what's there. They can delineate gray, but they don't see the pink. They don't see the yellows. They don't see the colors that we see. And they put these things in toys to be able to attract us to buy them.
Right.
And unfortunately, we know about the little bit of dyes that end up going in child's food and creating problems. What about these dyes that have to try and get into a nylon rope or a nylon toy? How intense is that? That's not food dye that's doing that. That's industrial dye that's going in there. And it ends up leaching into our animals' food, and we wonder why they're throwing up, why they have diarrhea, why they have all of these things that are going on for them. They're coughing. I had a dog that was coughing because its stomach was literally full of all the fuzz that's inside of the stuffed animals. And once they went through surgery, then the coughing went away, but that was $4,000 or $5,000.
Right.
Worth of surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we do want to turn a little bit to what we feel is something that is healthy for the pets. We have some for cats, some for dogs, and they would be available on debspets.com. As I said, usually we want to discover all things about pets, but we did want to get this information out before Christmas time so people would understand a healthy alternative. And Emily, could you put the Deb's Pets scroll thing there? So what about the Nipster toy? Kurt, can you tell us something about that?
I can. Well, let's first talk a little bit about something that is absolutely natural. And I'm certified in pet nutrition. and have studied this extensively around what to be able to give our animals as a toy. And so in nature, they will find fibrous things to be able to play with, sticks, even seaweed. If you go out to the ocean, they love being able to play with seaweed and those things. And so one of the things that is very fibrous is hemp, and it's a digestible fiber for the dogs, and it's found in hemp rope. Unfortunately, when we have something like this is hemp rope. Okay, this is agricultural hemp rope, and it's actually, if you smelled it, it smells of kerosene. It's dipped in kerosene to be able to keep the bugs away, because naturally everybody likes to eat this stuff. And what I love about your site is that on your site you have this hemp rope that has not been treated with the chemicals to be able to keep bugs away, and the animals go crazy for them. The cats go nuts over them, and the nipster that you're talking about has an organic catnip that's in it. In the organic catnip, the cats just go crazy over this. And so I have a cat. She's probably going to jump up here in a bit. Her name is Alexandria, and she just loves her nipster. And we hold on to the bag. We put back in the hemp rope, and the little hemp rope that's the nipster back in the bag. Shake it back up. The organic catnip that's in there gets re-energized on the rope again, and we'll pull that out again and play with her around that. I went to go look for the hemp rope pile. We call it our pile, because the dogs love to play with it so much, they shred it so much that we retie it over and over and over again to be able to keep this pile going. And it's their favorite toy until they get one of the antlers. And when they get one of the antlers, that changes the game around everything. But the nipster toy is so unique for cats because it's something that the cat can consume and the cat can digest. And so, yeah, absolutely love the little nipster for Alexandria and other animals.
Very good. All right, so we're going to move on, and we're going to talk some about minerals. So this is partly about having healthy things for the dogs. Well, all about having healthy things for the dogs, but also how they would fit into the toy category, I guess you would say.
Absolutely.
Right. So a little bit of background. Because a portion of these that we're going to talk about are antlers, and the antlers are actually available in a class A, B, and C. And A are the perfect antlers, B not quite so perfect, and C are not good because they splinter and so forth. So the fact that you need to go to a trusted source is really pointed out by that, because you do not want, obviously, to be giving an inferior quality that's going to splinter when your pet is chewing on it. And another thing to be said is that our company only collects what has already been shedded. It does not have to be cut off of an elk or a deer. In order to qualify, it has to be laying there on the ground so that they can go pick it up, and it is totally unintrusive to the animal. So that is an important thing to keep in mind. So we do have the antlers that are available in various sizes. Kurt, did you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I love where you're going with the A, B, and C grade antler. And it's just, it's very much like seafood or, excuse me, meat products that are there. When you have an A grade meat, it's a premium meat. It's a premium product, and it's very, very, people want it. They want to have it. An A grade antler is going to be something that's harvested. Once it's harvested, it has the beautiful caramel colors, those things. It's used not only for animals, but it's also used for people. People actually use it, and they want it to fall off of the deer and elk, because that gives it the finalization of the minerals in the antler. So it cannot be harvested from the animal when it is on its head. And so the what you look for in an A and B grade antler is that it has and I have one that's right here. It has a beautiful light dull color to it, right? And it's not shiny, and it just kind of it doesn't have a smell to it. It doesn't stink or anything like that. And it's all put together. There's no chips or anything like that that's in it. And that beautiful color and the lack of smell lets you know that it's A and B grade antler. Now, A grade antler is typically sold to high-end pet stores. It's sold for furniture making. It's sold for human consumption in other countries. B grade antler is typically what you're going to find again, being sold as a cheaper alternative to the A grade. And then C grade antler is typically what we find in our online pet stores and those things. C grade antler, you can think of C grade as being chalk grade, because it's been left out in the elements for a long time, and it ends up having a very dull, white, milky look to it. But the pet food companies have figured out that if you cover it in shellac, or if you cover it in furniture polish, or even shoe polish, that you can create a look as if it's B grade antler. And so if you're finding antler out there and it's inexpensive, do not buy it, because it will break and splinter, and it will get stuck in the dog's throat, in the dog's intestines, and those things. And of course, speaking antler, once an antler gets to be about this size, a piece, you're taking this away from the animal and you're throwing it away, because you don't want them swallowing a whole piece that's this big, right? But once it's nice and big like this, they'll pull it around and play with it and those kind of things. And I bring you this antler because I wanted to show you kind of what the inside can be dark, or it can be light. It just depends upon where and then when it was harvested. This ends up being dark, this there, and you can see right here the dogs have had a day or two of being able to chew on this. And this is really what they're looking for. They're looking for that marrow that's in there, and they'll chew all the way on the outside of this, getting little pieces off of there, and that's okay. That's okay. But when they get chunks of it, or it breaks and splinters, then it's something that needs to be thrown away. And so it becomes their favorite toy.
Yeah. A couple of points about that. Number one, obviously you do want to be very careful, because you do not want to be giving your dog something that has shoe polish or some other kind of polish on it.
What?
Because again, that's something that people are going to say, oh, this is great for my pet. And then all of a sudden there's an ingredient in there that is not so great for the pet. And the other thing is that with the chew toys, especially the antlers, that you want to make sure that you pay attention to how long they have it, because some of the pets love it so much that they don't want to give it up, that they end up with like bloody gums and so forth, because they've chewed it for so long. So you want to be a responsible pet parent and make sure that you say, if you have a pet like that will just chew and chew and chew forever and ever, that you give it to them, that you check your watch and make sure that in 10 minutes or so that you take it away, and then you're going to give it back to them another time, but they're not going to be chewing on it so long that they're going to end up with bloody gums or whatever. So
And I love where Deb's Pets comes in with the antler and the hemp rope together, because it allows the pet parent to be able to take the antler away and leave them with the hemp rope. And it's something that they can continue to chew, continue to play with. It's literally a flosser for their teeth. I mean, we have folks that brush their dog's teeth. Are you flossing? And this is a great flosser for teeth and them. And then they can take in that hemp. They can eat the whole thing and digest it. And so I love where Deb's Pets comes in and offers a product that's A and B grade antler and is so wonderful for the animals. Just a great answer around that.
right. So that is how you would use those as a toy. But we also want to touch for a minute about the importance of the minerals, the fact that they are getting minerals from those, from the antlers. And then there's a couple of alternatives also. There's what we call Bucky Bites, which are biscuits that do have the minerals in there. So they could use that as a form of getting their minerals. We do have some freeze-dried dog food and cat food that is very nutrient rich and has the minerals as well. And a lot of people, because it is a rather expensive product, will use it as a topper just on the dry food. You mix it up. I will be honest, you have to stir it up to get the freeze-dried part to become edible part for 3 to 5 minutes. So be prepared that you have that little chore, but definitely worth it as a nutrient-rich product for your pets. So would you like to talk a little bit more about the minerals, Kurt?
I would. I got a story for you around the Bucky Bites. So there's a dog named Cody, and Cody loved to be able to go out and chew rocks, look for grass, would go eat sand. Zenta, my husky, before we got her on Bucky Bites, would go out and look for sand to be able to eat. And we would have to pull her away from the playground and pull her away from the volleyball court when we went to go take her for a walk, because she'd go take big gulps or big bites of the sand that was there. Well, Cody, this little, almost like a poodle type dog, wanted to be able to eat rocks, and he would pick up rocks and he'd play with them, and he actually ate one of them. And the owner was like, what do we do around this? And they were not even sure that the dog would survive eating the big rock. It did pass its rock. If you could imagine a dog, unfortunately, passing a rock. And they're like, how do we prevent this? And so another trait around mineral deficiency is dogs that are eating poop, eating their own poop and others' dogs' poop. So grass, rocks, dirt, other dogs. This is a mineral deficiency. The dog's looking for minerals. And so when Cody, because Cody didn't have teeth enough to be able to chew the antler. And so there's a biscuit that you actually have on your site called Bucky Bites. And this is half antler, half other wonderful stuff that's in there for the dog's teeth and stuff. But the dog can eat these biscuits and get a full day's supply of the minerals that it needs. And Cody no longer chews on rocks. He no longer has the problems with that. And he's also seen things like constipation eliminated, and that with Cody. Cody was a crazy dog, and Zenta was the same way. We noted later that she no longer ate the playground sand anymore once she was on your biscuits that were there, that were the antler biscuits. And so absolutely love those as a solution for our pets. Was that what you were thinking? I mean, I can go into the more of the specifics of the antler and what it does. in the body, but it just makes them happy.
Yeah, that's true. That is a good point. That we're looking at all the analytical part of a parent to a child, and it does make them happy. That's true. So, folks, remember, if your pet is out there looking for unusual things to eat in your backyard, etc., as you go for a walk, it usually indicates a mineral deficiency. So please keep that in mind. Very important for your pets. Just like as humans, we want to make sure that we get all the minerals that we need. So Kurt, you wanted to say some more about the minerals?
I do. I want to jump into the mineral with the idea of, if I could, add on to the freeze-dried food and literally compare it to the refrigerator food that I see that's out there in the marketplace today. So extensive studies around the freeze-dried food that's there holds on to about 200% of the nutritional value of kibble. And a lot of what we're seeing out there in the marketplace in the refrigerator section is basically kibble rehydrated, and then different things put into the kibble to make it feel like you're cutting into meat, and things like carrageenan and those things. There's a whole other segment that's wrapped around that. But as far as cost wise, being able to have something that's 200% more nutrient dense, you don't have to feed as much. And so it can be a little bit less expensive, if you would. The value is definitely much, much higher. And then when you look at the kibble that's on Deb's Pets, you'll actually, or sorry, the freeze dried that's on Deb's Pets, you'll actually see that the antler is put into that. And the mineral base of all the minerals that are needed for an animal to sustain healthy life is literally in that pet food. And also in the mushrooms are added into that freeze-dried food. So hands down, a superior product to even what you find in some of the premium stores that are out there. So I love where you come from around that, and being very modest that it's expensive. And so when somebody wants to be able to add an additional treat onto their animal, they put the freeze-dried food on the kibble. But an animal that needs some serious nutritional help, or somebody who wants to keep their animals around a long time, it's a great way to be able to feed your animal with that freeze-dried food. So I love it.
All right. I appreciate that, and appreciate you taking your time with us this morning. And again, people, please be careful with what toys you give your pets for Christmas, or any other time for that matter. But this is obviously designed to be timely information with Christmas in mind. Another place that you can go to find out some information is thegreatdiscovery.com/DNHayes. And we have one free course up there, and it basically talks about what to look for if you're interested in medicinal mushrooms, either for people or for pets. No, this is not the kind that gets you high. If you want to get high, you have to go elsewhere. But these are products that are designed for the body to heal itself, and this can happen with the most catastrophic of illnesses, all the way down to just basic infections. And they can also be taken just to keep your immune system at a level where you will stay healthy. So you can look, as I said, a free course on the Great Discovery, and it tells about stay away from this and look for this if you're looking at medicinal mushrooms. And then the other one is a paid course, $4.99, that Kurt and I did, talking about the specific mushroom that is the most widely used in our product, and is also called the king of mushrooms for a reason. So please take a look at those. And Kurt, great to have you. Our
Great to be here.
final sponsor is the World of Ability Podcast Network, and they do a variety of podcasts around a variety of subjects. So please look for them on YouTube as well as looking at our previous shows. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, and please share so that we can get this information out, and also like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.